High in the mist-covered peaks of the northern mountains, there was a monastery known as the House of the Open Hand. It was led by a monk named Master Silas, a man whose presence was as steady and calm as the ancient stones of the mountain itself. One day, a young traveler named Leo arrived at the monastery gates. Leo was a man whose shoulders were hunched and his eyes were perpetually fixed on the ground. He looked as though he were carrying the weight of the entire world upon his back. He had come to Silas because he was haunted. He was haunted by a business that had failed 3 years ago, a relationship that had ended in bitterness, and a series of small mistakes that had played like a broken record in his mind for 1,000 nights. "Master," Leo said, his voice trembling, "I want to move forward, but I feel like I am walking through deep mud. Every step I take is a struggle. My past is a shadow that never leaves me. How do I find peace?" Master Silas looked at him with kind, knowing eyes. He didn't offer a prayer or a lecture. Instead, he handed Leo a heavy leather satchel. "Tomorrow morning we will hike to the summit of clouds," Silas said. "But there is a condition. Every time you think of a regret from your past, every time you remember a mistake, a should have, or a what if, you must pick up a stone from the path and put it in this bag. You must carry this bag until we reach the top." Leo agreed, thinking it was a simple enough task. The next morning, as the sun began to bleed gold over the horizon, they started their ascent. Within the first 10 minutes, Leo thought of the money he had lost in his failed venture. "I was so foolish," he thought. He stopped, picked up a jagged stone the size of a fist and dropped it into the bag. A mile later, he remembered a heated argument with his father that had never been resolved. "I should have been kinder," he whispered. He picked up 2 more stones. Clink, clink. By midday, the bag was becoming a burden. His mind was an endless stream of yesterdays. He remembered a girl he had hurt, a promotion he didn't get, a lie he had told 10 years ago, and even the time he had been mocked in grade school. For every memory, a stone went into the bag. His pace slowed. His breathing became ragged. The straps of the satchel dug deep into his shoulders, leaving angry red welts. Silas, meanwhile, walked ahead with a light, rhythmic step, carrying nothing but a small water flask. "Master," Leo gasped, stumbling over a root. "The bag! It's too heavy! I can't keep up!" Silas turned around, his expression serene. "Is the bag heavy, Leo? Or are the stones heavy?" "The stones!" Leo cried. "They are tearing into my skin!" "Then why do you keep picking them up?" Silas asked. "Because you told me to," Leo replied, frustrated. "You said for every regret, I must add a stone." Silas walked back down to him and sat on a nearby rock. "And yet you are the one choosing to remember. You are the one reaching down to the earth, gripping the stone, and placing it in the bag. I simply gave you a place to store what you were already carrying in your heart. The only difference is that now you can finally feel the weight of what you are doing to yourself." Leo looked at the bag. It was bulging, unsightly, and painful. "Look at the path behind us," Silas said, pointing down the mountain. "The path is clear. The sun is shining on the valley you just left. But you aren't looking at the valley. You aren't even looking at the summit. You are looking at the ground, searching for more stones to add to your misery." Silas stood up and took a pair of shears from his belt. "Just like the man with the cow and the rope, you believe you are the master of these memories. You think that by carrying them, you are learning or paying a debt. But look closer." With one swift motion, Silas cut the leather straps of the satchel. The bag fell to the dirt with a massive, soul-shaking thud. Leo's body suddenly lurched upward, his spine straightening instinctively. The relief was so sudden that he nearly fell over. He felt light, dangerously light. "Now," Silas said, "look at the bag." Leo watched as the bag sat there, a heap of dead weight. The stones didn't move. They didn't grow. They didn't have a voice. They were just cold, gray pieces of the earth. "Those stones represent your yesterdays," Silas explained. "They are finished. They have no power to move, no power to breathe, and no power to hurt you unless you choose to pick them up and strap them to your back. The business that failed, it is a stone on a path miles behind us. The relationship that ended, it is a rock in a river you have already crossed. Why are you still carrying them in this valley?" Leo touched his shoulders, feeling the sting where the straps had been. I thought if I stopped carrying them, I would forget the lessons they taught me. Silas smiled. A traveler does not need to carry the map of the desert once he has reached the oasis. You have the wisdom. That stays in your heart. The stones stay on the mountain. To carry the weight of the mistake after the lesson has been learned is not wisdom. It is masochism. The master began to walk again, but this time Leo didn't look at the ground. He looked at the trees. He heard the song of the mountain birds. He felt the cool breeze against his face. He realized that for years he hadn't actually been living in the present. He had been living in a graveyard of his own making. If you felt the weight of your own stones while listening to this story, let this be the moment you drop the bag. Start fresh. Start light. Because a heart that isn't heavy with the past is a heart that can finally fly. Please like and share this video.